Hello, good morning. I want to introduce an economic and political system I believe is unique for Africa and will actually help us, the African continent, to solve all, not most, all of our problems. And that economic system is called Afrocentric or Afrocentrism. What is Afrocentrism? Afrocentrism is simple a paradigm shift from viewing ourselves as spectators in world events rather than as actors. It is a paradigm shift from viewing things in African perspective. It's simple about loving Africa, believing in Africa, buying Africa, eating Africa, developing Africa. It is about seeing the African continent or your country within the African continent as your home, as your base in which you will use to fight the rest of the world. I use that word fight, the rest of the world. That is just about Afrocentrism. Now, let me give you an instance, an example. Do you know that a shoe made in Aba, Nigeria, with the tag made in Aba will not sell? But that same shoe, if you remove the tag, just that tag, and replace it with make in Italy or make in Spain, it will sell. Why? Because we view ourselves as spectators. We do not view ourselves as actors. We believe that we cannot act in world events. We cannot produce something that will go for the whole world. That is just the reason. So Afrocentric is simple a paradigm shift from that mindset to that of belief, that was self-confident, and that of belief in African continent. That is Afrocentric for you. Now, how can that be adopted or used as a political system in Africa? As an economic system, sorry. First, we need to understand what is an economic system. Economic system is simple the mechanism, the way and means in which goods and services are produced and distributed in a country. Economic system simple means the mechanism, the way goods and services are produced and distributed in a country. We have several economic systems: capitalism, communism, socialism, mixed economy, and the rest of them. In capitalism, it is said that the means and ways of production is controlled by the citizen. It means that the people of that country, of a particular country, produce goods, distribute that goods. In capitalism, it is believed that the prices of goods and services are fixed by the market forces through competition, healthy competition. That is capitalism. But in communism, the means of production and distribution of goods and services in communism is controlled by the state, by the government. That is the difference between communism and capitalism. And in mixed economy, we are made to believe that the means and ways of production is both controlled by the government and by the citizen. The government controls some vital sector, maybe like the production and distribution of power, like it is done in Nigeria, while the citizen control other sectors that are minor. That is mixed economy. So then how do we apply Afrocentrism as an economic system? Remember, what is economic system? The mechanism, the way in which goods and services are being produced and distributed. And it equally means that in Afrocentrism, the means of production of goods and services will be controlled by African. What we do not understand is that the African market is the largest in the world. We have more mobile phone users in Africa than we have in Europe. We have more mobile phone users in Africa than we have in the US, the entire North American continent. That's US, Canada, and the rest of them that are there. We have more automobile users in Africa than we have in Europe. Go and do your research. We have more automobile users in the African continent than we have in the North American continent. So African market is actually the largest one. So if Africa can start to even control our own market, we produce our automobile and ensure that no one from any other continent comes in. We produce our textile and ensure that no one from any other continent comes in. We produce our phone and make sure that no one is a drastic move. That's Afrocentrism as an economic system. We produce everything that we need and we sell for the African market first. Let's forget about the rest of the market. Do you know what happened in 10 years? 10 years. The African continent will be liberated. Poverty will go. We will rise above what can be imagined. It can be done. And if you are among those that believe that this can be done, why don't you join with us? Let's see a way to do it. It may be as a cumbersome tax, but it's not an impossible tax. It can be done. If you believe that it can be done, join with us. That is Afrocentric as an economic system. Now, how can we apply Afrocentric as a political system? First of all, we have to understand also what is political system. It's simple the ways and means in which a country is being governed. Simple. We have democracy, in which we believe that the people elect their leaders. We have monarchy, in which is traditional leadership. The parent died, the son takes over. We have dictatorship, we have technocracy, we have autocracy, we have theocracy, in which the leaderships are religious leaders. There are so many forms of political system. What we currently practice today is democracy, which is adopted from the Western world, which I believe is not ideal for Africa, because African people do not know how to take decisions. They can be easily influenced by tribe, religion, and by money. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. The candidates they choose for themselves, the major political party, which I'm certain they will win the election, the PDP and the APC, clearly show that the people cannot actually make good choice for themselves. So democracy is not good for Africa. So what is good for Africa is Afrocentrism. What is Afrocentric? It simply means that the African people should choose leaders who are Afrocentric, who believe in the ideologies and the principle of Afrocentrism. And when they do that, these leaders already they know as Afrocentric, they must strive to control world or international organization. Anyone they cannot control, they should leave it and form a parallel organization. You see, geopolitics determine the success of a country. For a country to create wealth, the country must understand geopolitics perfectly well. The PDP, whosoever is a president of Nigeria, whether from PDP or APC or Labour Party, cannot actually create wealth in Nigeria without understanding geopolitics. Geopolitics is the tools that you use to exploit other countries and take their resources and add to your own and become wealthy. NATO is an organization that the United States of America used to build military bases in other countries. US African Command is an organization that the American used to build military base in Africa. It is this international organization that other countries that are powerful enough are able to use to produce or to control other countries, exploit their resources, and dictate what happens in that country. So Afrocentrism as an economic system implies that only Afrocentric should govern African's country. As a political system, implies that only Afrocentrics should govern African countries. But before they succeed, there are some steps that need to be taken. The first one is that the first step they need to take is that they must create true nations. Africa must create true nations. You see, what we have today, the countries we have today in Africa are contraption created by Europe, and they unite or they force 3 or 4 countries together to produce one country. They force 3 or 4 nations together to produce one country. And that's why we are having crisis in Africa today. That is why we are having crisis in Africa today. Because when you force people who share no single, you see, we are blacks, we are African, but we are different. That's the reality. When you force people who are not the same together to form a country, there will always be crisis along that line. And when there is crisis, such country can never develop. You see, what we have in Europe today, France is a tribe. The Irish people that unite to form the United Kingdom is tribe. Even the British people is a tribe. Spain is a tribe, apart from the Catalonia, that is part of the Spanish people. That is only 2 tribes. Most of the country you see in Europe today are tribe. But when it comes to Africa, we call them tribes. So Africa must dissolve. The entire African continent must sit down, dissolve, and withdraw their boundary based on the will and aspiration of the people. The entire country in Africa must cease to exist for Africa to succeed in adopting Afrocentrism as a political system. The entire continent of Africa must sit down. The AU can spearhead this if they are serious, which I know they are not a serious organization. They can spearhead this. They must dissolve. A new country will be formed based on the will and aspiration of the people. Then this country must come together under a confederation, a weak center and a stronger unit. They must come together to form a confederation of African nations, in which the center will only control foreign policy, immigration, military, and the central bank military policy. And each of the units will take care of every other thing. They will have their police, they control their resources, they even have their flag and their anthem. And in the constitution, it must be spelled out that anything that can be produced in Africa should not be imported into the African continent. Anything that is being produced, whether the quality is inferior, should not be imported into African continent, because with that, other Africans will start to produce and the quality will improve. If such drastic measures are not taken, the African continent and the countries in Africa will never rise. That's what China did. They closed their borders during their cultural revolution. They closed their borders during their cultural revolution. If the Western world can place sanction in the entire African continent, it will be a benefit to the African people. They all place sanction on the entire African continent, not one country, the entire African continent. In short, they cannot even do that. They cannot try that now. The whole world will paralyze. I bet it. I can bet that with all I have. Yes. Say the Western world place sanction in the entire African continent. They don't buy our products again. They don't sell to us. They don't supply us. It will be a 100% benefit to the African continent. So that is the way to practice Afrocentrism as a political system in Africa. My name is Ubong Alfred. I'm an entrepreneur. My interest is in business and the development of the African continent and every other thing in between. If you believe that this can be done, if you want this to be done, join with us. Let's take a single step at a time. We may get there. Thank you very much.